Chip. Hello, New York. Hello, fabulous people. How you feeling? I know it's raining, but how you feeling? Thank you. Anyone from Brooklyn here in the house? Yeah. Come on, Brooklyn, come through. Let me hear a little noise. Yes. Queens. I know what's that. Queens? I feel you, sister friend. I feel you. Manhattan? Hey. Well, you all have shorter to travel, so it does. The Bronx. We have the Bronx in the house. Yes. Give that man a round of applause. Thank you, Bronx. Staten Island? Oh. Wait, is that you in the back? Staten Island? All right, give that fella a hand. Give him a hand. Thank you. God bless you. Come here, Staten Island. My name is Robin Safaloff, and I want to welcome you here to this new cultural arts and event space called Town Stages. Town was built by myself and a team of women who just got tired. We got tired of not being welcome, being believed or heard or safe in too many places in New York. And we got tired of the people we love, work with, and collaborate with not being welcome as well. So thank you all for being here in this new space. We've been here a year and we're really proud of that. Thank you so much. This space represents an 8-year-long fight to reclaim the art of public assembly for all communities in New York City. Because who we love and how we love should not be limited by its opportunity to gather or limited in its platform to express itself. Especially when there's disco balls involved, okay? Everyone needs a disco ball in their life, you know? So, spaces like Town Stages where all are welcome are only made possible and remain possible by you and your voice. This city is yours. It's literally your town and it's up to you. So thank you for being here. Thank you to all of you who are always fighting for human rights in all corners of New York City. Some of you have been doing it longer than others. Some of you are new to the fight. Some of you fought hard to dismantle the cabaret laws that were criminalizing our spaces and our bodies and our culture. Thank you. That fight was hard and it was long. When that law ended, we got the keys to this location after a 3-year search. So you made possible a place like this, all of you. So thank you so much for that. And those of you who lifted your voices for so long invested in the idea of the Office of Nightlife in New York City. So y'all made that possible too, and they are who is hosting this powerful conversation tonight. So thank you for that, and thank you to the Office of Nightlife. Give them a hand, y'all. We're all here, and we're all proud, and the fight to be heard and seen and thrive is far from over. Even in spaces like this, we are still limited to closing at 11 p.m. Some of y'all know what that process is. You know a little bit too much about it. You know it's a fight, but it's all right. We're here to fight that fight. And we believe we will prevail. Yeah. So I'm honored by all of you coming here tonight to have a challenging conversation when it seems sometimes like easy answers are not always available. Thank you for coming here to reminisce, to strategize, and think about the future of Nightlife for the LGBTQIA community. Thank you for being here. Seeing you here makes me hopeful. Ariel Pollitt and her hardworking team give me hope. They represent a long-awaited change. Long. A new and exciting opportunity for the importance of rainbow-friendly and fabulous nightlife to be recognized, be thriving, be elevated, and also protected. That's what's important. We all need to be protected. So Ariel and her team have been earnestly and boldly doing this work all year, and they've been just about the most incredible humans I've ever interacted with in city government. They listen. They listen to the tough conversations, and they're teaching us in this space how to build this movement stronger and stronger together. So thank you guys for that. Thank you for listening. This place wouldn't be possible without y'all. For those of you who don't already know about Ariel Pollitt and the Office of Nightlife, you're about to find out how ultra fabulous and fierce and how hardworking they are. So it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce the Senior Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Nightlife, aka New York City's first nightlife mayor, Ariel Pollitz.
Oh my God, we did it, everybody, we did it. We pulled this off. Thank you all so much for being here, rain or shine. This is an incredible opportunity to be able to be gathering in this beautiful space that Robin has created, Town Stages. And in case some of you have not yet heard, the New York City government has created an Office of Nightlife to make sure that the voice of nightlife and the priorities and the needs of nightlife are at the table once and for all. So it's a huge win, I think, for all of nightlife and for New York culture. And I think that really deserves a round of applause. In fact, I just came from a event earlier today with the mayor and the first lady, revealing that they will be erecting monuments for the first trans activists, not just in New York, but in the world. Sylvia Rivera and Marsha Johnson, who were at Stonewall. And it really is a symbol and a message to the city and the world about the importance of the LGBTQIA plus community and what they mean to us. And as we all know, June is the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. Because of that, New York City is hosting the World Pride event. We're expecting up to 6 million people. And with this brand new Office of Nightlife, we thought now is the time to really start having a conversation about the state of New York nightlife and all of the communities that create it and make it, and why we need it and why it's important. As we all know, it's really not just about having a drink and a hookup. So many people ask me, you know, oh, you're the nightlife mayor. What, do you go out every night? You know? I go not more than usual, you know. But really, having this office is really about redefining what nightlife is and what it means. It means much more than a drink and a hookup. It's about creating safe and liberating spaces that embrace a community, all communities, all the misfits of the world and people who couldn't find their place and their way and their voice. They know they can come to New York and they can be free. And in New York, we know that we need to set the standard and to be able to send a message to the rest of the country and the world that this is what freedom and equality and justice looks like. A little bit about me before I introduce our incredible panel here, and then I'll get down. You know, somebody in the audience asked me, you know, did the mayor create this office just, you know, as a symbol, you know, as a goodwill gesture? And I was like, not if he appointed me, you know, because this means the world to me. I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised. I worked at Mars as Michael Tron's reservation girl. I worked at Tunnel, Red Zone, MK. I owned my own nightclub in the East Village for 10 years called Sutra Lounge, which is a common ground for diverse expression on the corner of First and First, the nexus of New York and the universe. And You know, I also sat on Community Board 3 for 6 years on the Liquor Licensing Committee. I was marched on many times. I've been there. I would like to say I'm here because I've been there. I'm here to make sure that this industry gets the voice and the seat at the table, and to make sure we're a part of the conversation, and to show that this $35.1 billion industry that supports 300,000 jobs, $700 million in tax revenue, is not just about economic value, but cultural value, social justice, equality, safety. It's about looking out for each other and taking this opportunity of social gatherings to look out for each other and make sure we're all okay, and that the city's going to be okay, the world's going to be okay, and we can't do it alone. This series, this panel tonight is about the state of New York nightlife and the state of the LGBTQIA plus. Nightlife scene and community, and it's about coalition building. Kevin Aviance and I had a conversation about a year ago when I just started this, and he expressed so much concern about the present and the future of this community, and to make sure that they knew how far we have come to get to this place. It's only been 50 years since Stonewall. Not that long, and we need to make sure that the new promoters and the new owners and the new patrons know that we cannot take this freedom for granted, and we still have a long way to go. And so for that, and for that conversation, and for this opportunity with the Office of Nightlife, we are launching this series, The State of Nightlife, New York Nightlife, and it is a coalition building series that we look to do for as long as I'm in this position. So thank you again all so much for coming to the beginning of this important series. And now I would like to introduce, you know, obviously there's so many representatives in this community, and it would be impossible. There's no venue large enough really to be able to make sure they're all represented. But this is the beginning, and I think we did a really great job at choosing the right people to start this off. As you all know, our moderator, he is infamous and probably needs no introduction, but Michael Musto is here to moderate this panel. Long-running gay writer, TV commentator, and author, and has been covering the nightlife scene for many years. He currently writes Musto Unfiltered, and he will be our moderator tonight. So please welcome him as I introduce the rest of our panelists. Yes. You know it's legit, right? It's legit. We also have Kevin Aviance. Please come up. Again, infamous New York City legend, drag performer, musician, fashion designer, and diva. With the best shoes in the universe. DJ Mary Mac, please come. She is an MC, DJ, performer. Madonna's DJ, no big deal. And used to DJ at Sutra, which I'm so grateful for. Frankie Sharp, please join us. Event producer, promoter, Westgate, Rebar, $3 bill. Ty Sunderland, DJ, event promoter. The future. Another future, Daphne Always. Performer, hostess at Club Coming, model. And Brenda, don't burp. Thank you. Owner of $3 bill and the Phoenix. Thank you all. And even to Michael, I will join the panel for Q&A afterward. Thank you so much.
Hi. I'm not going to say make some noise, don't worry. When someone says that, I go crazy. I talk to millennials about Stonewall, and I say it was a riot, and they say it was funny. I say no. Actually, that never happened. Everyone knows the importance of Stonewall. 50 years ago, it was the legendary moment, the landmark moment, when the queer community, and I say queer, not LGBTQIA, Uh, when we came out from the shadows and we became visible and vocal, and we've come a long way from that moment, but there are still challenges to be faced, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I want to start with Brenda, because you're an actual bar owner, and tell us how can nightlife remain fun, because after all, it's a place where you should misbehave, it's a place to go out and party. But how can we make sure it's also safe?
Jesus, why did you start with me?
You're a bar owner. Can I remind you who you are?
I'm on Phoenix and $3 Bill, and I own $3 Bill because of Phoenix, because I loved working with the gay community, and it was easy and it wasn't any trouble, and they were all very sweet, and I really liked, and I wanted to do something and give it back to the gay community, and that's why $3 Bill is here, because I want it to be used for whoever that wants to do whatever they want to do, you know. But that being said, you know, people want to use it for dancing or whatever, but the gay community is so easy to work with rather than any other people that I work with. You know, like I've worked in bars all my life, that's all I've done, is worked in bars. And when I came to the Phoenix, like a friend of mine many years ago, she owns Gingers out in Brooklyn, she asked me to do a gay bar with her, and I said, why would I want to do a gay bar? Because why would I be turning away 90% of the clientele, 90% of people? And I didn't realize until I found Phoenix for sale on Craigslist. And you know, I went there, and I just, day by day, I wasn't really too sure what I was going to do with Phoenix, but you know, it just happened. It came back to life, and it's been a pleasure ever since. And that's why I came across $3 Bill on Craigslist, and somebody showed it to me, and I said, oh, it's way too big, and you know, but I really loved the space, and I had worked for a guy in the Bronx, and Bill Buff Cafe, and I called him and I said, do you want to have a look at this space with me? And he said, no, it's too big. And I said, no, come on, we'll do it, you know. And it took us 2 years with all the DOB and sprinklers and you name it. It was hard. It was very difficult to get the space opened and legal, and because it was so big, but we finally got it, and it's been really brilliant. I met Frankie and Ty and all of these great people, and they're all helping me along, and it's been really fantastic. It's only the beginning. Yeah.
Well, from why me, she gave a pretty good answer, I think. Mary, I know you have specific ideas about how to keep nightlife safer.
Well, I'm just thinking the security guards could be like nicer, and we walk out clubs, they could be a little nicer, and then maybe the DJs that we could just be like, everybody get home safe, instead of just trying to knock them in the head, like keep going, just it's a few things, so.
Well, I didn't want to say that because there's a camera here. Well, we just changed security, so I don't want this on TV or anything else, but, we just changed our security company because they
could be harsh.
They were really harsh, and it was like a battle every night, and it was night up and night up and night, and we just, they accused me of not wanting, that I didn't care about my club. I cared about the people in there, and I cared, and that's why I didn't say that, because there's a TV down there.
Kevin, do you feel safe in queer nightlife of New York today?
I mean, I will always feel safe in clubs, because no one's going to really bother me too much. But I feel I feel the experience is not there anymore, and that's what that really bothers me. Anybody that's coming to New York, or someone that has never experienced it, or a young person coming to New York, it's like me coming to New York. It was and I'll never forget that, and I always hold that to my heart. New people that come to New York, yeah, I'm sure it's cute for you, you know? It's cute. I'm sure you're having a great time. And I'm sure it's, you know, Instagrammy and all that stuff, and it's just like, it's all fierce. And I think phones should be taken out of clubs. That's what I definitely think. Take phones away, you know? So.
We tried that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good luck with that. I think young people think their nightlife is the best because they're young, and that's who nightlife is really for. Let's face it, though it's for everyone, but it's more exciting for young. I think there's a problem in Manhattan with dance clubs and the dearth of dance clubs. That's partly because of the expense in opening a club and running it, combined with the zoning and the community board power, and the fact that everyone's on their phone. And it used to be a major motivation to go out was to hook up, let's face it. Now people are at bars going, you know, oh, the cutest guy is around the block. And then leave.
There's apps for that now. There's apps for that. There's no clubs, just the apps now.
Also, music is broken in a different way. You used to have to go to a club to hear music be broken, right?
Yes. True.
But all those challenges accounted for, Brooklyn certainly is part of New York City, and there's plenty of nightlife and dance clubs in Brooklyn and other places in the environs of New York. Should we just adapt, Daphne, to the fact that nightlife in New York for the queers has changed geographical borders, but it's still there, it's still vital?
I think that Manhattan nightlife can start to learn a lot from Brooklyn nightlife and start to look at what Brooklyn bars are doing. And a lot of that is things like making sure that staff, for example, is not just like 6 different people who look the exact same and act the exact same and are the same shape and size and color. I think Brooklyn does a really great job of making things feel open to everybody and making it feel integrated and like we can all have a celebratory experience together instead of sometimes in Manhattan it almost feels like some bar owners that I've worked with are using a model that worked 10 or 15 years ago and aren't necessarily trying to adapt and do specific pointed outreach to people other than who they've always tried to reach out to.
So Brooklyn really still has the mixed crowd, which I think is so essential to nightlife. Not just white gay men or whatever. I should go to Brooklyn more, but I'm from there and I couldn't wait to get out, so now I realize, like, oh, you have to go back. They really do specialize in welcoming all ages and races and genders and sexualities.
Yeah, I would say so. And also, I feel like maybe I came up in like the Brooklyn drag scene, so maybe I'm biased, but I also feel like there's something about the fact that the spaces themselves in Brooklyn are maybe a little less glamorous. They're maybe a little divier and grungier, where a photograph doesn't necessarily capture the appeal of why you're going there. So the main thing that is a draw to Brooklyn bars is not what you're going to find on Instagram, it's what you're going to find in the clubs. Whereas sometimes I feel like some bars in Manhattan are designed to create social media-based content, and that's supposed to be the draw. Like RuPaul's Drag Race girls, for example, are like often booked in all these bars to try to attract people without actually thinking about what the experience is going to be for people when they're there.
And much as I love a drag show, every bar in Hell's Kitchen seems to have a drag show. There's no room for maybe a comedian who's not a drag queen, or a singer, or any number of entertainers. Something like the House of Yes in Brooklyn has all kinds of entertainment, including burlesque, acrobatics, correct?
Yeah, House of Yes, like it rides a really great line between being a circus, a club, a rave space, you know, and I think that it being a little bit more out there and a little less congested definitely plays into that. I think its location in Brooklyn is a part of that.
Frankie, what's your biggest challenge so far? You're one of the top producers and promoters in the city. What are the challenges that you face in doing what you do?
Well, first I wanted to talk or speak on the Manhattan versus Brooklyn sort of programming. At least I think what I try to do in all of my events is somewhat be the bridge between Brooklyn and Manhattan. I do 3 different weeklies in Manhattan. I do 2 weeklies in Brooklyn, and then I'm the program director at $3 Bill. And so I've been able to try to encapsulate a New York energy in each space that I do. And in those spaces, for Rebar, for example, we do have comedy nights, and there are not only drag shows, and we do have dance parties like my Friday night, which is, you know, just a New York party where a bunch of boys come, and there's like go-go boys, and it gets really debaucherous and rowdy. But on other nights of the week, it's pretty diverse. There's a live band show on Sundays, and yeah, every venue that I work with is pretty diverse in its programming. And because I think that when it becomes a Manhattan versus Brooklyn thing, that's when it gets a little tricky, because we just live in New York. So I try to represent that as much as I can in every single thing that I do. What was the first question?
The first question was for Brenda. No, kidding. What are the challenges that you face as a successful promoter?
Sustaining business. I think it's tricky when it's very, very competitive out there, because the queer dollar is plentiful and it's abundant, but there's so many people out there trying to get it, and it really divides the opportunity to be able to give that wholly. Please do. Yeah, it's one of the most challenging things, I think, for me in general, and I think I always go back to it every time that I come up with a new idea for a project or night, is competition, is other event producers who have similar demographic and similar approaches on the same night or in the same neighborhood. It's difficult to keep a sustainable product and story and presentation, because there's too much going on at once. Maybe that sounds selfish.
No, that's good. We have come so far as a community. We've earned, in a way, our place at the table, visibility, role models, and acceptance in many ways. Does that make it harder to get the queer community to go to some place that's queer only or queer mostly? Because some of them might feel, well, I'm assimilated now. I belong to society. I don't belong to the gay community.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I do work with a lot of different venues. For instance, I work with the Tao group, who's, for the most part, I think straight owned or heterosexually owned. Is that weird? And a lot of venues will seek me out and try to find, okay, Frankie can get like 1,000 people here. Let's get him to produce our gay night, which is always kind of a little strange. And the gay nights always land on like a Tuesday or a Sunday or whatever. We very rarely get like Fridays or Saturdays, because they don't need to. On Fridays and Saturdays, straight people can buy $1,500 bottles, and that's how they sustain their business. Gay people don't buy bottles. We don't need to impress anyone. You know what I mean? We're impressed by just like being there. Like, that's radical.
Gay people don't do bottle service.
They don't buy bottle service. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, I'm not doing that. I think there's, whatever, that's a whole other tangent.
But I'm actually interested in that, because I think bottle service pretty much destroyed nightlife in the 90s.
Yeah, well, I think what I've noticed is, like, if I was working, when I first moved here and I was working as a sub-promoter host for Marquee, you would see suits and businessmen try to impress the women in their Hervé Leger dresses to get them to hang out. They'd spend like thousands of dollars on these bottles. It's just not like that at gay events. I think we have a bottle ticket. They just give it to us, and it's just a different. There's no weird thing about impressing one another. I don't think. Right? Am I wrong? I don't know.
What bars are you going to?
Hold up.
Ty, you're the most popular one here.
That is so false. No.
Do you feel you're young? Are you in your 20s?
Yes.
Anyone under 60 looks young to me.
Well, my birthday's Sunday, so
Happy birthday.
I'm about to be in my last year of my 20s. I said it publicly. I'm not supposed to say that.
You're still relatively new to the nightlife. Do you feel we're having a golden age, or do you kind of hear about the glory days of the past and long for that?
So I'm a fan of nightlife. Like, I've always been a fanboy of Nightlife, so like I love the history of Nightlife and I love hearing stories of the past. But I think we're just in kind of like a transitional mode between, you know, the big clubs are now all.
Check one.
Hello? Okay, so the big clubs are all in like Brooklyn now. So like, you know, $3 Bill, like who I started working with, I'm producing like a party that I could never produce in Manhattan because the capacity is so much larger and there's so much more room, but I'm still also, the drink prices are not too expensive. You know, like there's all these like factors that, you know, the big clubs are moving to Brooklyn and the small clubs are still in Manhattan, but even in Manhattan, I think there's still a transitional, like, you know, there's so many bars, but there's not many more dance floors in Manhattan that queer people have access to on the weekends. Like, I throw a party at a Chinese restaurant once a month because that was the space that I found that I could use, that I could make a dance floor.
You get a free egg roll?
No, they make me pay for it, but it's fine.
Now, as I mentioned, we've come a long way, but under obviously the current administration, we're going through a horrible hate agenda and fighting for our rights all over again. That being said, within our own community, are there phobias? Is there misogyny? Is there ageism? Is there racism? Is there transphobia? I've noticed all of these things cropping up in the queer bars where they should not be happening.
When moving back to New York, I went to Florida and came back, and before I had hip surgery, so I'm back up in heels and that's going out. And I went out, and then I was having a lot of problems of going out because everybody had so much to say about what they were seeing. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, why are people reacting instead of just saying, hey, girl, what's up? Da, da, da. They're like telling me exactly like, girlness, you know, like letting girls, they're just like, this language I've never heard before, you know? And I was like, I didn't understand it. And it was straight and gay people, and it just felt really weird. Like I feel like where you have Drag Race, and that's something that they see on TV and they accept that. And meanwhile, they see somebody different in the clubs, and you know, I go to any club, I don't care, and I'll go anywhere, and you know, it's just the way it is. Before it was never a response like that. It was more like, hey, how are you? And keep it moving, because New York was just like, I always felt New York was very supportive, you know? It doesn't feel like that support from the people because they've just never seen it before. They have so much to say because of Facebook. They just, you know, they can say whatever they want or whatever it can be. And when it gets down to that, it's just rude. You know what I mean? It's just really not nice to go in and respond unless you're saying, you know, you have nothing nice to say. Don't say anything at all. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is.
Mir?
What was the question again, please?
Do you feel there are phobias within our own nightlife community? Transphobia, ageism, racism, misogyny?
I mean, I DJ a lot for the women, you know, so I don't know. I don't really see that, you know, because I'm down the DJ booth, so, you know. But, you know, overall, I'm just, that part I don't really see, you know. I mean, you know, if my wife, she's one of the biggest promoters, yeah, you know, so she throws parties, and, you know, sometimes, you know, it's a women party. Sometimes it's hard for them to get venues, you know what I mean? Because they're like, the women are not going to drink, you know what I mean? So we're definitely not going to be, you know, because women are different from men. Men, you guys, 1,500 in an hour, you know what I mean? But women, our bodies are different, everything is different, and they judge us by that. So when she's trying to get a venue, you like that, right? I did it good, right? Good job. You know, when she's trying to get, I was practicing, I have my notes right here. You know, when she's trying to get a venue, they're like, you know, they're like, women, it's even worse. You know, men, they'll be like.
What do they say to you when you're trying to?
Yeah, ask her because she'll know.
When you're trying to, I mean, say, score a deal at a venue, what do they say to you as a woman to?
Well, the first thing that they'll ask me is like, what kind of party is it, of course.
Right.
And when I say, oh, you know, it's predominantly for women.
Can anyone hear her?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh my God, dude.
My check.
I'm really curious about it.
Better you than me. Oh my God. Hi everybody, I'm Cassie. So when booking a venue, the first first thing they'll ask me is like, what kind of party is it gonna be? And of course, I have to be honest and let them know that it's, you know, it's predominantly for women. And then they'll ask me like, well, how many do I expect? Do I expect to sell bottles? What day of the week it is? And usually by the time I get to like, oh, it's predominantly for women, I'm already cut off by that. Because especially if it's like a Friday or Saturday night, I'm done. If other boy promoters are looking for the same venue, I'm done. It's not gonna happen for
And
me.
would it be boy promoters, gay promoters, or
Well,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
gay
Really?
promoters, yeah.
Interesting.
And they'll always bypass me and they'll go for the men
Because
the men can drink more.
We have a
Yeah,
venue
men
that we
drink
can
more.
work with. For sure, we'll give you a
I
party.
would love that.
men drink more. It's physical. It's all of that. It all plays. It's not, you know, women are not gonna be pounding like men. Men could pour beers in. You know what I mean? A girl could, you know. It's just the dynamic of men and women. It's just what it is. It's
But wait, I
physics.
thought gays don't do bottle service. Wait, okay.
But they certainly drink at the bar constantly.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they love a happy hour. Now let me just say, whenever I've wandered into a lesbian bar, I feel welcomed. They have every right to hate men, but they don't.
No.
But if you're at Pieces, for example, a gay bar on Christopher Street, and it's 40% straight bachelorettes, the queens are really having breakdowns. Unless they're famous, unless it's Jennifer Lawrence and Adele, then they're excited. Is that a double standard in our community?
Well, I just wanted to go back to a question that you asked earlier about ageism and sexism and everything. Not only the class of women that come to my parties are predominantly women of color. So not only do I get discriminated against from the gay men, but women of color. So if there's a lesbian promoter who so happens to be white, or she may be Spanish and she looks like she's white, I'm out again. Because we're classified as troublemakers. You know, like we have a bad following. You know, we're gonna come out and we're fighting everybody and whatever happened 10, 15 years ago. And unfortunately that stigma has stayed with my community, and so that makes it even harder for me.
You see, I just DJ, so she gets all of this info and she hires me sometime. It's just, you know, I'm like, okay.
And she takes over your
And I
panels.
just think it's a great club night. And I don't
This is
even know
why
the
I'm
rules.
single, folks.
Right, I don't know the rules. I just think it's a great club night. That's it, done.
Well, there's a club called The Monster on Christopher Street, which had an incident last year where the manager made a racist remark. He had to step
I
down.
DJ there.
Right, he stepped down. They went through racial sensitivity training of the staff, and I say the ban on The Monster should be over. That's always been a place, one of the few places in Manhattan for a queer bar that is actually racially mixed. Mostly if you go to a bar in Hell's Kitchen, why are there so many white guys?
Broadway.
I want Kevin to actually answer that.
You know, I remember back at the like Roxy days and stuff like that. You couldn't go into Roxy if you were 5 black people, their friends, and walk into the nightclub. There's no way they would let you into the nightclub. I don't care what y'all say, what it be. There was no way that would happen. You had to wait until somebody see a bunch of your friends, and you walk in and you split your group up, and then you walk in together with the group. They would never let you walk into the club. So
And what would they say to you?
Huh?
What would they say to you?
well, they didn't say nothing to me because I was hosting the night, so I was but at the same time, my own community was calling me the Uncle Tom drag queen because I was working in all those white bars. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, when you're seeing that, when you're hearing this stuff in your own community about who you are and what you're doing, it hurt a little bit, but. At the same time, it's like, whatever, they'll get over it. You know,
That's about
they'll deal with
jealousy.
it. But I just, you know, I think it's really strange because, you know, there's all this other stuff going on besides just like, you know, the blacks and the black Sheila and who loves the blacks and all that stuff, and you know, black is in and all that stuff, and you know, that black is in, this black's not in, and whatever. And at the same time, it's like when I guess we need to just start, you know, the gay community LGBTQIA, BHCC222, all of it. You know, it includes everyone, you know what I mean? And then I just think that whoever the heads that are making all these labels and all that stuff just have to realize that, you know, we are all the same, you know what I mean? We are one, and that's where, I don't know when that's gonna start or when it has to be, or when it's going to be. I don't know. But
Well, I mean, we're all oppressed people. We're queer, so it's weird within that community. We then oppress other members of it, and there's a totem pole of who's supposedly preferable to someone else, and that has to stop. Now, before I open up to the audience for questions, starting with Frankie and then going down, we have the ear of the mayor's office. What do you want to tell them that needs to be done to improve queer nightlife in New York?
I would really love if nightclubs would be seen as cultural spaces, like a museum is, or a youth center, or just a place where people come together to become comrades and share common interests and love and community, instead of a place that is debaucherous and dangerous and unsafe. I'd like to see the city support us and recognize us as an important monument.
Ty?
We brought it up in our first meeting, but I think universal training of security guards to handle different situations of people of different genders and different identities to handle, certain situations, because, I've definitely come across issues with security, not a $3 bill, but, I work at various clubs where I have to kind of step in because they don't know how to interact, they don't know how to use pronouns or something like that. I think universal training for security for all the clubs and all the private security companies would be really great for the mayor's office to do.
Kathy?
I guess the most relevant thing I could speak to, I work at a bar called Club Cunning. It's in the East Village. And last year we were dealing with some issues. Frankly, I couldn't even tell you what the issues were. All I know is a lady across the street was real mad. And she happened to be on the community board. And there was this whole thing where we were accused of violating zoning laws, even though that space has been a bar. So they traced the history of it back to the 1920s, when it was or before the 20s. It was a Bavarian beer hall, and then it was a speakeasy, and then it had this whole lineage of being bars.
They didn't want live music to be happening there.
Right, which it always had been. I was working at it when it was Easter Block, and we were doing live shows then. But I guess maybe as far as tentpole work for the Office of Nightlife, maybe just some sort of mechanism in place for that, for complaints like that to be caught earlier before it led to 3 months of a bunch of people being out of work. And I will say that Ariel actually did a really wonderful job of supporting us through that and really making sure that we got the help we needed. And at the end, they went to the state liquor authority, and it turned out that there was never a case to begin with, is what happened after months and months of doing it. So I guess continue to find opportunities to help spaces that need that kind of help. Thank you.
And one great thing that de Blasio has done is there were these archaic cabaret laws, which were actually used in the old days to keep black people out of bars. And then Giuliani resuscitated them in the 90s just to crack down on any club that dared to have dancing. And it was absurd. I mean, we became the town from Footloose, where dancing is illegal. And de Blasio said, to hell with these stupid cabaret laws, they're not applicable anymore. So has anyone noticed an upsurge in dancing? Tonight, let's just go dancing. And finally, Brenda?
I agree fully with
In the mic?
the lady here. Sorry, I agree with Japanese. And Ariel helped me too also in a situation. But I want to go back to the question you had before that about bars and women. I had a Friday night party in Phoenix for many years, and the only problem I ever had with the promoter was that he didn't want women in the place. And it was a big, big problem, and I fought with him, and he eventually told me I ruined the party for letting women in there because I didn't allow him if I wasn't outside, he wouldn't let women in, you know, and it's not what I'm about. That's why I said $3 bill be big enough for everyone, you know. But I had a problem in Phoenix for many years where the promoter did not want to let women in the place. And
Did you realize that you're a woman?
he did, yeah.
Did he want you in the club?
Yes, he did, but I used to ask all the gay boys around the place, does it make a difference whether there's women in here or not women in here? And some say yes and some say no. So it's like, you know.
I think a club owner should be able to lead. I mean, it's not always about the almighty dollar. You're still making money. It's like if Disney has a gay character, oh, they'll lose $10 billion. They're still going to make $100 million, zillion dollars. So why can't we lead by example and do the right thing? And I'm glad that that's what you seem to be doing.
Yeah, that's because that's what $3 bill is. I want it to be about, a place for everyone, and that's what was in my head going there. It's big enough. Well, you know, there'll be nobody stopping anybody at the door because if we can fill it, you know, we'll be doing good, you know. So, yeah. So.
Questions for anyone on this incredible panel? Just stand up. We'll bring a microphone to you. Raise your hand. Stand up. Any question about the nightlife? Thank you.
How you guys doing? Okay, there we go. I'm an entertainer that just moved to New York City, trying to make it in the nightlife community. And one of my idols was Kevin growing up. So for someone like me, because I've been trying for about a good year and a half now, and I'm finding it very hard that they don't really like live entertainers or live singers, and that's what I do for a living. So I get shut down quite often everywhere I go unless I want to dress up in drag.
Baby, you have to just come through, you know. It wasn't easy for me either. I mean, I was, you know, I came to New York, I had a wig on, wig, tits, tucked, everything like that. And when I took everything off, that's when I got noticed, you know what I mean? So, you know, I just think that you just have to be persistent and just keep bringing it to them, and because it happens, you know what I mean? That's one thing about New York. It does happen. When you're a performer or a singer, dancer, whatever in New York, and you really want it bad enough, the clubs were always there to let you do it. And I just think that you don't give up on the people too much. Just keep dreaming, you know, and come through, you know.
And there are clubs like Club Coming where they have two.
Yeah, let me book you on a Saturday.
There's a club called Club Coming which has 2 open mic nights a week where you can get up and perform. The Duplex also, and you will find a venue if you're talented, and you probably are.
Can I just answer this question for a moment? What kind of performer are you? I'm sorry.
I'm a live singer. I sing for a living.
So can I tell you, like, I get hit up all the time for stuff like, you know, talent, singing and stuff. And for the promoters, a lot of times we're afraid to stop the party to put somebody on to sing.
Yeah.
You don't have to stop the party.
You don't have to, not for me.
Just mix it into music.
Like depends. So if you're contacting a promoter to do a nightlife event to sing, sometimes you have to just kind of if I have someone come to me and they tell me I have this song, it's popping, it'll pump. Just listen to the song before you turn it down. Then I'm like, oh, okay, great. But sometimes the promoter will be scared to say, because they think that we have to stop
the show.
for the show. And it's so hard out here, which is why we're all here. It's so hard out here to keep people coming to come to this party, and then they're like, okay, well, the music stopped. Okay, you know, go get a drink, go to the bar, or whatever. You know, we're afraid to lose momentum.
And then I gotta get on and be like, you know, like, 'cause I'm happy. I mean, you know, get people back on the floor. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think it's also important too, just to sort of do your research, because there's a lot of promoters and productions out there that do a lot of performative stuff. Like aside from drag, I have like rappers, musicians, pop artists. I mean, every single one of my events has a performer in the middle of the club, always. I rarely never do that. So reach out to promoters like myself, or like Horchata in Brooklyn, or Daphne at Club Coming. There's so many places that are performing that want that. Just keep showing your face until people are sick of it. Yeah.
Frankie, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I think you do a really great job of, what you just said, making sure there's a variety of different types of performances. What do you think we can do? I think everyone on this stage tries to do that. I think $3 Bill, you try to cultivate that sort of environment. What can we do to try to encourage other people who are maybe stuck in the rut of, I just want a drag queen to do a lip sync and then get off the stage, or whatever? How can we show those people that it's actually in their best interest to diversify their talent?
Meaning for the audience? Or
I guess the people who are doing the booking, who are saying that like we don't want live music, how can we all make an effort to show them, or even audience members make an effort to show them that we want live music?
It's a good question. It's really tricky because for the I'm a theater kid at the very deep down bones of it. So all of my events does have a performance in it, and I'll book a drag queen because I know it's a moneymaker, it's easy, and it's what people expect. But I'll usually kind of just sort of force feed a live music event, and sometimes for the most part, and I vet all of the performers, and for the most part, people can feel a little confused by it. But they usually get into it, and there's really no easy answer. I think the answer is, and I say do your research because I try to diversify the performers, so find people like me who are willing to open the stage up to different performers. Just keep pushing and feel confident that your art is dope. You know what I mean?
I think promoters just need to be brave like you are and just say, well, I'm going to put a singer on stage. If it takes a few minutes for you to adapt to the fact that it's not a drag queen, you will adapt to it. If they're talented, you'll love it. And then we can have another singer and also drag queens.
Because one thing
there's nothing, I don't want a world without drag queens, believe me.
Yeah, one thing I noticed too is that people are kind of over. Wait, we have a viewing here afterwards, huh? Never mind.
We have another question.
Finish that, girl.
Let me just get one more question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you first.
Okay,
you got the mic.
So I want to say this. My name is Vicky, and I've worked as a promoter and done some parties for New York City over 20-something years. Ariel has been my mentor 19 years ago, before there was beepers, before there was media. We learned how to do flyers and promote. Long story short, New York City, I feel like it's watered down now. We used to focus on productions. We used to walk into the club, and get a production. We used to come out. We wanted to come out and get Espolita,
like Espolita,
Café con Leche, Crash. We used to put energy into our productions. Now a lot of the promoters did not get it. Some of the clubs have shut down. We're at Boxers and you can't even hear the music because the speaker's so. It's just like we lost the integrity of like, let's put some thought and purpose into our performances, into the production, sound, mic. Like do a mic check, do a run through. You go to a club now. I go to a club and I'm so judgmental. I'm like, what is this? My bathroom radio sounds better than this. And I have to stop and pull back and be like, wait, pay it forward. Because we have to teach the new generation. They don't know it. They're like, yes, this is everything. We're like, bro, this is not. And I miss that. And I come from a place of, and I'm gonna put myself out there. Kevin Aviance was, I was a sub promoter at the time, but I really wasn't. I was working for Café con Leche with Joy Nadio and Joy Sheridan. And Kevin Aviance was one of the main performers, and then one of the sub promoters that were there was like, you have to grab Kevin Aviance's back and bring it downstairs. I was like, what? I'm a promoter. And Kevin Allianz got to the front of the club, and you know what? You sometimes have to just sit back and bring that bag down. But you know what? Let me tell you something. He brought the bag down, put it in the office. He didn't say nothing. He just walked in, closed the door behind him. And it was, you know, an hour later, he did a production. We forgot how to sit in a circle because we're so money hungry and say, like, let's give these people something that they don't, you know, have at home. Let's spark them. Let's surprise them. They're not surprised anymore. That's why they're on their phone looking for some booty. Like, get them off the phone, you know? And I think the people in here can make that happen. Okay? Because, you know, I haven't been out. Wait, don't give me the clap yet. I haven't been out because I'm not getting that. And I feel like this. And I feel like there's a reason why I came out tonight and I wanted to be a part of this, but I also want to be a part of the movement of making something that's magical and bringing that love back, because there's a lot of people that don't know it. And we're old, but we still look pressed. We need to offer it back. Thank you.
When $3 bill opened, then there was a phone policy there that you had to put your phone in on the way in, and you had to put your phone in, and you couldn't. But there was too much trouble. Too many people didn't like it. Too many. It was not. It didn't go down very well. We tried.
To speak on that point, I think I know all of us on this stage, especially me as a producer, when I came to New York 10 years ago, New York City nightlife wasn't what it was when I was visiting, and it wasn't what I thought it was that I was reading in, like, you know, paper magazine or The Face or whatever. It was actually just a bunch of people dressed in black staring at each other. So I took that as my own inspiration to create the productions that I created. I did a party called Westgate that happened for like years, and that it was fully, it was a full production. It was too much of a production. And because of, and it was so wildly successful because it was so fully backed with love and community and nonsense and chaos. And ever since that, everything I do is that big of a production. And I think everything that Ty does is that big of a production. When Daphne performs, it's that big of a production. I think maybe you might just be going to the wrong places because there's so much in New York that I think perhaps you're not just tapped into. And it's what I was telling the other kid before. It's like, do the research. We all work really hard to put on these productions. They exist, they're out there. We do it, it's what we do for a living. Anyway.
Can I say, I'm doing Webster Hall June 29th, and I'm going to be like doing a big production, so.
You know what I think the problem is that a lot of us old queens, you know, we are, like you said earlier tonight, we're stuck in our old ways, you know what I mean? And we're not willing to move forward, like with the times, you know what I mean? We want to hear that song, we want to hear that record, we want to hear that, go to the dance floor, but things are happening in New York. People are doing it in New York. These kids are doing it, and they're turning at me. I go to their parties, and I'll tell you something. I live or break these parties because they stop at a certain time, but that 10 minutes before they stop, that party is hot. Hot. And I live that 10 minutes before the party's over. It's like amazing. It's like, it's over. But I love that.
Well, I definitely want to just echo what everyone is saying. You know, there is a movement, there is energy, things are happening in New York. I think a lot of why people feel disconnected or don't know what's happening is because there is a disconnect, there is no sense of community. And I think that is ultimately what Kevin and I were talking about, is there's a lot going on, but it's not connected, it's not supported, it's not educated by the past, and there's no real sense of sharing for those who are coming that are new, that don't know where to go. And I think that's exactly what inspired having this kind of series of conversations, is to create a coalition of community, a sense of community, not just in Manhattan, in all 5 boroughs, so that people can get the information and can be connected to that woman who's doing amazing things and that DJ and that club owner, and that they have a sense of belonging and that they're not lost, you know, trying to figure it out. New York, LGBTQIA plus, is a family, you know, and we have to make sure with effort to be connected so that we can help it grow and thrive and all the great things that are happening that people know about it and that it can really grow. So that's why I'm here, why we're all here. It's not just about talking about it, it's about doing something about it, and we're gonna do it again.
And if you also, if you ever reach out to us, I mean, you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and if you want like places to go or even talking about New York, I love talking about New York. I love talking about New York nightlife, and I love just like showing people what's up and where to go. It's, you know, I think we all
Happy
do
Pride,
this.
everyone, and thank you so much for joining us.
Happy Pride.